So I'm actually not sure where to start because there are many topics, many a great deal of information, right? I see a lot of posts, a lot of question this and that, and sometimes it's too technical, but like it's really important just like to know the principles. You know what is Islam and everything. Generally speaking, it it applies in every little thing that you do in every, in your everyday life, right? When it comes to praying, how to pray, and all that kind of stuff. Like I know some of these videos out there don't really give you the proper information, right? And some of them just like in Arabic, you don't really know what you're doing or what you're saying. Um, but like generally speaking, one thing is understood is that the first step is just to believe that there's no God worthy of worship except God, and that Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the last messenger. Like that's the first step, right? Second step is obviously praying 5 times a day, which can be tricky for some people. Some people, depending on your level of iman, or in this case, I would say, what's belief, right? Depending on your level of belief or taqwa, God consciousness, because it goes up and down. Like there's some days you will be praying, and like there are some days you'll go a whole day without praying. Yes, it's not good. But again, Islam has more to do with the heart, right? The soul, your emotions, and everything. So the more good you do, the more positivity you have around you, the more strong you are. So that's why it's important to have like, positive friends who tend to, bring you up after you fall down, right? But like at the end of the day, living in the West, you work almost all the time, and it's hard for you to actually find a place to pray. Sometimes if you're a revert, you're a secret revert, I mean secret Muslim, and like your parents or family don't know, and you're like, oh my God, what should I do? Like, I see those. And sometimes all I can say is like, if you are a new Muslim, you don't have to go through that struggle of trying to say, oh my God, I have to pray, or, I'll go to hell. This, that. No, take your time. The first Muslims started only praying turaka, right? Throughout the day until the whole 5 daily prayers came around. So if you're able to, heck, just pray even one. Like, okay, I mean, like, pray just like turaka for a day, bit by bit, step by step, baby steps. Don't take it too far. Don't drain yourself, because Islam is huge. It's a lot. There's a lot of information, and you will find that like not every scholar knows everything. Sometimes they will collaborate, and one person who's good in one field will speak to another. So one thing to understand is that God is involved in every single aspect of our lives. And in everything that you do, it's important that you say Bismillah, in the name of Allah. That right there is dhikr. That right there is worship. Anything that you do for the sake of Allah, to please Allah, like following His commands, that's worship. So you could literally, be swimming, you could be doing exercise, you could be eating, you could be just like, driving, hanging out with your friends or your family. But in those moments that you remember Allah, you remember God, like Bismillah, that's worship right there. Worship. It's not like you have to go, you have to go to the masjid, or like you're going to the church every time, or the synagogue, or whatever the case is, or a temple. Like in Islam, the concept of worship is like very different. You don't necessarily have to go there. Plus, you can pray anywhere, right? You don't have to be in a masjid, because like some places don't have masajids, right? They don't have mosques. So you can pray in your living room, you can pray in your boat, you can pray in the airplane, right? You can even pray underwater. Yeah, you could do that. The surface of the earth has been made purified, or has been made clean, and a place for worship for all Muslims, for every single Muslim. So that's a good thing. Which in the case, you don't have a reason not to pray, right? Unless you're really stuck in a situation where you can't. But generally speaking, if you are at a place of work, just tell your boss like, hey, I need just a quiet room, even if it's the janitor's room. Like, get your little prayer mat thingy like with you, go there, put just like 5 minutes, four, 4 at the minimum. You go, you pray, khalas, you're done. It's really that simple, right? But yeah, just take it, step at a time. Don't force yourself. Don't walk on eggshells, right? And it's most important to have the correct information, because I know there's a lot of people out there, who tend to spread out the wrong information, right? You have YouTube sheikhs, you have those ma'alims and this and that. So like, I don't care like what shuyukh is out there who's spreading knowledge or information. Make sure you order your books of Sahih al-Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, the Quran interpretation by Ibn Kathir. Make sure you order those. And whenever, there's a alim or whatever like explaining a hadith, research it. Don't just follow what they're saying. Make sure you reference it. You cross-check. Because sometimes there are so-called shuyukh or malims who do make a mistake. I mean, we're humans, right? So make sure what they're saying is the exact information. Because sometimes, they can be a bit, they can have hiccups, so to speak. And unfortunately, there are some, people out there who claim to be scholars and shuyukhs and whatever the case is, but they spread wrong information purposely. So be careful. One thing is very, very important is that no matter what you do, I don't care where it is, but take this with absolute caution, right? Whether you're someone who used to drink or you do drink, you go have fun, right? When I stand and all that kind of stuff, or you're pretty much in the nightlife, the modern world, the having fun type of guy, like the high life. So as Muslims, you're told to adhere to Islam, right? Be on the balanced path, be on the straight path. Of course, it's humans, right? We make mistakes sometimes. Sometimes we forget. Sometimes, you kind of miss that sort of lifestyle that probably you see people having or your friends having, whatever the case is. Sometimes you slip around, right? You'll probably drink. You'll do this. You'll do that. And I see this a lot. I mean, yeah, we're all humans. We make mistakes, and you feel it like, oh my God, I've committed a crime. I've done so bad. Like, how will God forgive me? How will Allah forgive me? Like, will I be even forgiven? Like, you spiral down into this really low, deep level of depression just of that thing. It's important to remember that Allahur Rahim al-Ghafur al-Kareem. Allah is the most gracious, most merciful. I don't care how deep the sin is. Ask Allah for forgiveness. There's actually a hadith, which is one of my favorite hadith, about a companion who used to drink, and this is like after Islam. He was a Sahabi. He was a companion of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he was an avid drinker. He was an alcoholic. Sorry, he was an alcoholic, and every time he would drink, he would be dragged to the Prophet and get whipped. And he'll say, Ya Rasulullah, I promise I won't do it again. I promise I won't do it again. They would let him go, and he would go straight back to drinking. Yeah, you can find that in Sahih Hadith. It happens, you make mistakes, you fall. But one thing we are always reminded to do is say your istighfar. What is istighfar? Asking for forgiveness. Astaghfirullah. Ya Rabbi ghfirli. Allahumma ghfirli. Astaghfirullah. Ya Rabbi ghfirli. Allahumma ghfirli. Right? There are many ways to ask for forgiveness. You can even say, Ya Ghafur, or one who forgives, Ghfirli, forgive me, right? You keep repeating that. So, because, let's face it, there doesn't come a day where we don't make a mistake or we don't sin, right? Backbiting, gossiping, you're looking at something, you're hearing something, you're doing something, like, again, we are humans, we are nas, right? We make mistakes, we forget. That's being human, right? There is no perfection. Like, I want you to get rid of that idea that, Muslims are perfect. Muslims are humans, they're not perfect. They make mistakes a lot, right? Look at Ibrahim alayhi salam. He beat himself up just because of lying. And in this case, in today's modern society, it's like a white lie. Well, yeah, technically speaking, because, it's like doing something bad to do something wrong. sort of kind of mentality. I mean, today is like, oh yeah, but he beat himself up for that, you know? So it's because of that. And for example, when you look at Yunus alayhi salam, right? Or if I'm not mistaken, Jonah, he was told to go to the people, but he was so upset by them that he was like, you know what, forget it, I'm out, I'm gone. He was pretty much doing the exact opposite thing that he was told not to do, right? That's a mistake right there. So eventually he went to the boat. The boat was like, nope, there's a person here, who has done wrong. So he ends up in the stomach of a fish, of a whale. At the end of the day, he calls out to Allah and says, Ya Allah, forgive me. I've done wrong. Please have mercy on me. And then he continues with the job, with the mission that he was sent. So the point is, at the end of the day, as humans, we tend to make mistakes, regardless of the good that we're told to do, or the direction that we're told to go on. We make mistakes. That's normal. All you have to do is go to Allah, repent, Ya Rabbi Khfirli. Astaghfirullah, Ya Allah, have mercy on me. Simple, right? But obviously sometimes you feel like you've done something so bad and you're like, oh my God. But at the end of the day, Allah just says, reach out to me and I'll forgive you.